Hi, I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm excited to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Lori Pieper is speaking on Be Unapologetically You. Lori is an author, architect of joy, and the founder of Journey to Inner Joy. She empowers overwhelmed women to live their lives with clarity, passion, and purpose. Her unique programs combine the wisdom of ancient sages with the wonders of modern science. Lori's clients find their courage to set appropriate boundaries and make brave choices in alignment with their heart and soul. It is here they manifest their vibrant life of joy. And you can find Lori's contact information in the text of this video. Lori, thanks for being with us today. You are on.
Well, Jenny, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And so, yes, my talk is Be Unapologetically You. And so this morning, as I was preparing for today, I usually, put on makeup and do my hair and dress really nice. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to be unapologetically me. And so I didn't do much with my hair. I didn't put on any makeup. And I'm wearing this really comfy shirt, right? So that's one way of being unapologetically you. But it's even more important to be unapologetically you, even when you're feeling maybe boxed in or something. We had some wonderful conversations in the On Purpose Woman meeting just now. And so I'm kind of shifting what I was going to talk about, my speech. I'm shifting it because I heard from women who talked about how they felt they were not empowered. They felt like they couldn't make a decision. They couldn't be angry. I know when I was in corporate, I could be as angry as I wanted to be, but I could not cry. God forbid that I should show any positive emotion other than laughing. But women shouldn't cry in corporate. Why not? Men shouldn't cry in corporate. Why not? We don't realize, but from a scientific perspective, tears are very healing. Tears are more healing than anger. Anger actually puts you in fight or flight mode, whereas tears release some of that pressure and that stress. So, looking at these conditionings, how we've been conditioned in our lives, we've been conditioned to behave in a certain way. I remember growing up, my mother's mantra was, "What will the neighbors think?" And so I grew up with that. My sisters and I grew up with that. So it's always like, well, you may want to do that. I mean, what we were being taught, she didn't actually say this, but you may want to do that, but you wouldn't dare do that out in public because what will the neighbors think? And just a real quick story. I don't know, I was like 5 years old or something, and my mom and I were out on the front porch as we did back then. And my neighbor came home from work and he had a little flag. And actually, it's something very similar to this, right? And he came over and he said, "Lori, do you want this flag?" And I didn't want it. And I said, "No, thank you." And he said, are you sure? Because it's okay. He knew I was kind of shy or very shy. And I said, "No, thank you." And went about, I was reading or coloring, I don't know what. He went home and my mom asked me, "Why didn't you take the flag?" And I said, "I didn't want it." She said, "But you hurt his feelings." And that's the first memory I have of that conditioned self. I love my neighbor. I loved my neighbor. And I felt horrible because I said no when I should have said yes. And this is how we get conditioned, because not only society, but school and all that, they're all telling us that they do it for our own good, right? They're trying to help us navigate life, but we're not always conditioned or taught the right way to be true to ourselves. We're rarely taught how to be true to ourselves. So that was when I left corporate. I was in corporate for about 40 years. And when I left corporate, I decided to use the wisdom that I gathered in the last 10 years of my corporate career. That those last 10 years, I was learning things, how to keep me sane. So yoga, meditation, Reiki, Ayurveda, all these things that I got certified in too, because I just wanted to go deeper in all this. And I decided to use that knowledge to guide women who are exhausted, women in corporate who are exhausted, to find some peace and to find the courage to speak your truth. And as Jenny's intro for me said, I do combine how modern physics, modern quantum physics is proving that stress is really damaging for you. How your brain wants to sabotage you, not, and I hate to use sabotage, but I'm going to use it because it's a strong term. Our brain keeps us safe. And in keeping us safe, it's telling us, mom told you to say what the other person wants to hear so you don't hurt their feelings. So your brain keeps bringing these things up and we believe it. We not only believe it, but we don't even think twice about it. So I recently wrote a post last week about, because I started thinking about this talk, and when did I do something that I didn't want to do and I felt bad about it? And when did I do something that I really wanted to do and felt good about it? And that was kind of our little exercise today. And I was asked to, in my corporate career, I was asked to, I felt it was against my ethics. It wasn't against the law. It wasn't against corporate ethics or anything like that. It was against my ethics. And it was rescheduling a meeting that I had with a small client, a small loyal client, and which we had already had to reschedule for other reasons once. And they had a deadline. And my boss asked me, actually told me, reschedule, we have someone else to take care of your small client. And I want you to go to this sales call for this huge company that may or may not come to fruition, may or may not become a customer. I knew what my client, my small client needed. I had been working with them for over a year, so I knew exactly what we had to do in that time. I knew I couldn't bring someone else in and have them be able to take over. We were too far into the project. Anyway, I felt in my soul, my heart and soul, that I have to take a stand. And and the reason I bring this up, because I always talk about listen to your body. And I wanted to go to my boss's office and say, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. And I was truly willing to quit my job. That's how strongly I felt. And the entire time I'm walking to my boss's office, my entire body is saying, are you kidding me? Don't do this. This isn't going to turn out well. And I shouldn't say my body. It was my brain. My brain was saying, don't do this. This is not going to turn out well. And you start feeling that in your body, but somewhere deep inside, I knew I had to. And long story short, I talked to my boss. When I gave him my perspective, he agreed. He's like, okay, I understand. We'll get someone else to do this. So it worked out well. I didn't have to quit my job. I didn't have to sell my house. So that's all good. And that's like an extreme example. But we make these choices every day. When you have 10 minutes to yourself, what do you decide to do? Do you decide, oh, I'm going to go in the kitchen and clean the kitchen because it needs to be cleaned? I don't really want to do it, but, or do you go outside for 10 minutes and, take your shoes off and put your feet in the cool, wet grass and give yourself some time to just be? So in my programs, so I am an author in the On Purpose magazine, and right now I'm doing a series called Empowered and Unapologetic. And what I do is I take the wheel of life and combine it with the 6 pillars of health. And why I do that is because in my coaching, I realize that people come to me for a specific coaching reason, something that they need to make a decision on, a transition of some kind. And it's amazing how many things come up that aren't even related to what they came to me for. And that's when I realized we think we want XYZ when really our heart is yearning for ABC, for something different. And that comes out in our coaching. And so in my articles and in my Empowered and Unapologetic program, we go through the wheel of life. There are 8 different primary aspects of life. And those 8 will change depending upon which wheel of life you happen to get in the Google search. And we look at each one of them and we combine them with the pillars of health. So there are 6 pillars of health. And what I love about the pillars of health is it's not just, oh, your blood pressure and your, I don't know. It goes into things like spiritual health, physical health, spiritual health. Where are you lacking? And if we just take a moment to think, do I feel when I'm not feeling well, and I mean not feeling well, not as in sick, but just I'm feeling drained. Do you ever ask yourself what's missing? And that's what we do in these programs is just look at life, because you may even think, oh, nothing's missing for me. But when we dig deeper, we start realizing, oh yeah, I really do need to work more on my nutrition, or I really do need to pay more attention to my spiritual, etc. So we break it down into little pieces, and that's my article series, my series of articles in the On Purpose Woman magazine. But the biggest thing is, how do you know what's right for you? How do you know what's missing? And this is, I have a free workshop coming up actually this week, called Be Unapologetically You. And there are 3 things that are key to being unapologetically you. One is know what you want, dig deeper, find a way to be in silence and ask your body, what is going on? What do I need? What am I missing? What do I want? What do I desire? And the more you get used to listening to your body and asking yes, no questions, things start bubbling up. Get out of your brain. I know I have this a tendency, because I was an engineer, a software engineer for years. My eyes kind of roll up a little bit when I'm trying to make a decision, when actually they should be rolling down and feeling into my belly and into my heart, because that's where my truth is. And the other part is have the, and I hate to say this, I'm not going to say, but have the courage. I don't want to be inappropriate. Have the courage to follow that heart, to follow what it is that you know is right for you. And I still to this day, I do struggle with that on occasion, because I'm making decisions. I'm saying yes or no without even thinking about it, because it's habit. And then afterwards, I realize I really don't want to do that. I mean, I really, heart and soul, do not want to do that. And then I have to kind of dial back a little bit. The more you can tap into your body and use the wisdom from your body, the better off you are. So there is a scientific study where they attach monitors to the brain and to the heart. And then I don't have any cards here handy, but they would have these pictures. And the picture was down, facing down, So, and then the picture would be held up to the person in the study. And so the person who was conducting the study did not know what picture was coming up, didn't know any of that. And the amazing thing is the heart responded before the brain. It's like split-second response before the brain. Not only did it respond before the brain, but it responded before the picture even was shown. So if it was happy puppies, the heart would respond happily. And if it was, some tragic accident, the heart would respond in a negative manner. The brain would also respond appropriately, but it took more time. So when people say, come on, make a wise decision, or, we get, especially women, when we say, it just feels right. Well, and then people are looking at you, what the heck is that? Come on. Stop being so silly. We get criticized for being a woman and following our heart. And that's not fair to us, and that's not fair to the world. Because when we are following our true selves, we're happier, the people around us are happier, the world becomes a better place. Imagine if every woman on this earth followed her heart and soul. Imagine how beautiful this world would be. Instead of going with the flow and acting and reacting as we were conditioned to do. So I am passionate about that. I do have a free program called Be Unapologetically You, a free 45-minute workshop. You get three, we will walk through and you will experience 3 ways to be unapologetically you, to know what's unapologetically you. You will go through an exercise of trying to find what you really want, find why to have the courage to follow that, and then actually practicing that and why you should be practicing that. It's not just for you, it's for everybody around you. It's not selfish, it's selfish not to. And I'm going to end here with one of my favorite testimonials comes from the husband of a wife who took my program last year, my paid program last year. And he said, Lori, I don't know what you did, but my wife is so much happier. And he was happier. Why? Because she was. Our energy spreads. So ladies, please be true to yourself. The world will thank you. So thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Great, great, great information, great wisdom, great reminders. Be unapologetically you, y'all. And I'd like to ask everyone with us here on Zoom to unmute yourself so we can give Lori some love by shouting and clapping and saying, yay, thank you. Thank you, Lori.
Oh,
Thank you. That sounds kind
thank
of
you.
lame. Let's do it again, y'all. Come on. There we go. There we go.
Thank you.
So, Lori,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. I appreciate you.
My
And I want to thank
pleasure.
anyone who's watching this live or watching the replay on our YouTube channel. If you want to join us for one of our Zoom or in-person gatherings, go to my website, opwgc.com, where you can find out all about our community and the magazine. Thanks again for watching.